like sexual harassment, right? No one of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit.
This is Miz speaking way too candidly and way too stupidly about sexual assault, saying it's low scale, like there's a tier list that we have to drop every year on what sexual assault we need to rank.
This is literally the clip that spawned this lawsuit, or it was cited in this lawsuit as defamation.
Because the reality is, worst comes to worst of it, it's fucking like sexual harassment, right? I mean, like no one of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment at a low scale. It's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit.
This is Miz speaking way too candidly and way too stupidly about sexual assault, saying it's low scale, like there's a tier list that we have to drop every year on what sexual assault we need to rank.
All right, and Ludwig, he properly cooks him or whatever. And Adrianah Lee, the person who was the victim of it, she sees the clip.
Of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment at a low scale. It's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this. I'll just turn it off. Of what you can deem of it, it's sexual.
Now, what she's doing right there is probably recording it, getting it, texting her lawyers, texting her friends, doing whatever you want to do.
Harassment at a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this.
All right. So there you have that, right? Go ahead, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications and never miss a video. Now, what she will go on to do is file a defamation lawsuit against Maya Higa, Crazy Slick, Mizkif Enterprises, and OTK. Now, she accused them of fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and torturous business interference. Well, when it came to OTK's case, because we're talking about OTK, the judge basically granted their motion to dismiss on the Rule 91A, meaning it has no grounds or basis in law. Now you fast forward, and now OTK is not fucking around. They are coming back to her with a vengeance. And I kind of predicted that they were going to wait until after TwitchCon to file this, because they knew I would probably grab it and then report on it. And probably the last thing they want to be worrying about is anything on LSF that relates to this, because this is, if anything is LSF worthy, it's this document right here. So what do we have? OTK, here by their attorneys. And this factual background is actually pretty interesting. Usually attorneys want to make their first two paragraphs or whatever like stick. Adrianah Lee filed this lawsuit against OTK and other defendants on March 16th, asserting multiple claims for recovery and damages exceeding $1 million. She was looking way for more than $1 million, almost $600,000 per charge. All right. And her case arose from the opinions expressed online between Twitch celebrities, Twitch streamers, about a claim that plaintiff was the victim of having her chest fondled by another online celebrity, Crazy Slick. And legally, he has been very quiet, as like a church mouse. He ain't said nothing, but he just genuinely denied everything, every claim. He was like, nope, I genuinely deny everything. All right. Now, plaintiff did not sue. Adrianah Lee did not sue Crazy Slick for assault. Rather, she elected to sue defendant Crazy Slick and others for what was said, and they put emphasis on said, you know, it's italicized, about the alleged incident as part of an open and public discourse begun by Adrianah when she publicly identified herself as the victim of the alleged assault. You like, God damn, shit. Plaintiff sued OTK and other defendants for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, torturous interference with business relations, and fraud. Okay. And the funny thing about this torturous interference, she was like, I lost $600,000 because of this. And the fraud claim was just like weird. Cause she just said Maya Higa misrepresenting Crazy Slick. She made no allegations of direct wrongdoing by OTK or its officers. Okay. And they're being a little tongue in cheek there because, Mizkif is no longer an officer, if you will. But he is a founder. So on June 15th, 2023, OTK filed its plea for the Rule 91A motion to dismiss, and the TCPA, which was freedom of speech, and special exemptions, answer, affirmative, and other defenses and requests for disclosures. The reason why they're listing everything that they did is because they're coming for lawyer fees. They're trying to state the case like, look, we had to do all of this to do it. And put in the comments how much money you think they're looking for. Now, on July 13th, she filed her amended petition. Now, when she files something, her lawyers have to read it. Her amended petition with everything included was like 194 pages. Okay, so now some lawyer who's making a lot of money per hour has to sit down and read all that. Okay, they're reading everything and they have to charge. They have to charge. Okay. Time is money. Time is money. All right. And what does it say? By virtue of her clear and apparent representative authority on behalf of OTK, made his actions indistinguishable from those of OTK itself. Sure, talking about Mizkif. Okay. That not big deal thing. Warp said 50K. Okay. You'll find out pretty soon. And that Mizkif's a known member of OTK and a representative of OTK in its brand and business. Now, on the surface, sure, I can see how you can think he represents OTK, but legally speaking, he doesn't. Okay. It's no more than LeBron doing something crazy and you're suing Nike. All right. Or Jordan doing something, you going after Nike. Now, this is the money shot. On July 31st, OTK filed its, Rule 91 motion to dismiss, and contended that plaintiff's lawsuit against OTK has no basis in law, which they did. Okay. Meaning that the allegations taken as true and inferences reasonably drawn to them do not entitle her to seek relief, and that the claim has no basis in fact, meaning no reasonable person could believe the pleaded facts. All right, which is, you can say it's ironic considering everyone ruled this and only OTK was granted, but it is what it is. OTK also argued that, the plaintiff's causes of action are intentional torts and fail to satisfy the standard for respondent superior liability against OTK for the acts defendant Mizkif did, as an alleged by the plaintiff. Statements by the defendant Mizkif were personal regarding his roommate, which, it was. It was. That's just what it was. I mean, he made the statements hanging out at a non-work event, so it was no big deal, and the whole Sear thing. Hey, I only stopped hanging around her because she was groping Sear. Stuff like that. All right, stuff like that. And according to Adrianah, the alleged objective defendant Mizkif was to defend a Twitch streamer whom OTK had no professional or relationship with, meaning crazyslick. Okay. And she said, hey, Mizkif was trying to protect and preserve the reputation of crazyslick and bolster the reputation and credibility of crazyslick, then protect his reputation and status. All this sounds good, right? All this sounds good. We're not going to read the legal standard, but we'll read this last statement, and it just talks about, hey, the court granted their Rule 91A motion to dismiss. A formal order regarding this ruling was entered on September 19th. The order also granted prevailing parties leave to file motions for attorney fees, right? That was the big thing. And if you remember early on, they were asking for $25,000. Now, here's a legal standard. Basically says, hey, we'll just read this first part. Hey, if you get your stuff dismissed on Rule 91A, which, that was true for OTK, you can come back for all cost and reasonable necessary attorney fees incurred with respect to the challenge cause of action in the trial court. Emphasis on all, not some, not 50%, all. Now here's the legal standard. I don't need to bore you guys with that stuff or whatever, but there are some things that you have to keep track of. Okay, you can't just arbitrarily throw a number out. You have to, you need the time and labor required, the novelty and difficulty of the questions involved, the skill required to perform the legal service, the fee customarily charged, the locality for service, the amount involved, the experience, reputation, and ability of the lawyer or lawyers performing the service. You need to establish your rate, basically. If you've been in the game a little longer, you're going to charge a little more. New lawyers, they probably making $250 an hour. Old lawyers, way more. All right. Hourly rates, all this stuff, services performed, who performed the services, when were the services performed, the amount of time required, basically a check. Hey, we need an account for everything. Up. Okay. If the fee opponent seeks reduction, which would be Adrianah. So if she wants to reduce the cost that they're seeking, she has to prove providing specific evidence to overcome the presumptive reasonableness of the base lodestar. Figure lodestar is just a calculator. So if you saw it, how much do you think it's worth? It cost them. 50K is too low. I'll give you that clue right there. 50K is too low for OTK's legal fees. Anyone want to throw a number out there that's higher than 50K that it cost them to defend this lawsuit against her? 500K? 500K is too high. Okay. I see 180K. I see 150K. I see 80K. I mean, if we doing Price is Right rules, all of you are wrong. All of you are wrong by Price is Right rules, which means if you go over, the amount that OTK is looking for is, drum roll, they want her to pay, Adrianah Lee to pay at least $72,000, $72,954.50. Okay, 50 cents. Like, God damn. All right, for reasonable and necessary attorney fees and expenses, and here's the kicker: $75,000 in contingent appellate fees. Now, contingent appellate fees means if she wants to appeal, she's gonna have to put up $75K to appeal that shit. Okay. Now, they get really petty with the lawyer fees, right? And I'm gonna show you just how petty they get. And I kind of like the pettiness. So she's looking at 72,000, and my watermark didn't save over it. So the clipper's gonna clip me, and I hate it. Here we go right here. So we got two attorneys making $650 an hour. God,
I got money.
One attorney put in 80.6 hours. Another attorney put in 20.9. Okay, 20.9 for a total of $63,000 in legal fees. Like, goddamn. That's just their portion. All right. And they say, hey, see the legal invoices. And here is some more time that was put in. And this equals your $72,000. And she did start it. She effed around and she's finding out. But this is my favorite charge in here. Hey, further, OTK has submitted evidence of reasonable expenses it incurred in defending against plaintiff's claims. This evidence shows that OTK incurred at least $28 in reasonable expenses in doing so. So to submit the evidence, it cost them $28. So they put this shit in the bill. Hey. What about that 28? It cost us to put it in. We had to submit the evidence. It cost us $28. We need that money back. We need it all. We need it all, and we need it all yesterday. And we know we saw your interview with Caleb Hammer. We know your ass broke. But if you really broke, when you really broke, there are job opportunities out there for you.
When I start selling pussy.
Anyway. This charge right here, I was like, God damn, why are y'all suing OTK? Now, this sends a huge message to everybody. And look, here's the prayer. Remember, they got to pray to the judge. Now, the foregoing reasons OTK requests the court grant its motion and award OTK its reasonable attorney fees and expenses in the amount no less than $73,000. $60,000 in fees through the 20th. The $28 in cost. Oh man, $28 in the cost, and the $12,000 actual anticipated fees for preparing in pursuit of this motion, as well as a contingent appellate fee of $75,000. So if she want to appeal it, she got to put $75,000 up, and just in case she loses the case, she got the lawyer fees on deck. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is not guaranteed. I know some of you feel like it should be. She messed around and she found out. But the harsh reality of the situation is they may not award them legal fees. They may award them some, even though they may justifiably be due all, because she filed this lawsuit, which in their minds was frivolous, and now she's lost. Now the crazy thing is, you still have Mizkif, and Mizkif has his hearing, for those who care, scheduled on November 6th. All right, hearing is scheduled for the 6th at 2 p.m. and that will hear his freedom of speech motion. But let's go back to right here, right? She can't afford this. She does not have this. This, for them to impose it on her, they will put her on a payment plan. Okay? They will put her on a payment plan. And rightfully so, I think OTK would take it. I think they would. They'll say, okay, how much can you afford to pay? $200 a month. Okay, we'll take $200 a month for the rest of your goddamn life. And make sure you know, never ever put OTK in any frivolous lawsuits to try to get rich. $50 a month? Here's my handy dandy calculator. And look, they gonna probably want this with interest. But let's just say it's not interest, right? Let's just say 72954.50. We got to include the 50 cent, guys. Let's say we divide that by 50. We're looking at, goddamn, we're looking at easily 14, let's just say 1460 payments, 1,460 payments on that ass, okay? That's at $50 a month, right? Now, Asmon is not playing. Asmon hates Crazy Slick. He probably does not care for Adrianah Lee, and who knows if what he feels about this legally. I wish I can get an interview with Asmon. Like, yo, what's going on with that lawsuit, man? Whose idea was it to go for the legal fees? Like, he would be like, nah, man, Henry, I ain't with you. You know, he'd be like, no, Henry. But reasonably, what's a reasonable amount to pay back? 73,000 divided by, let's say, $200 a month. 365 divided by 12. We looking at 30 years. That's a 30-year mortgage right there. That's a 30-year mortgage at 200 and hold on, what did I do? Where are we at? At $200 a month, we looking at 30 years to pay this shit off.